All right, for more on this, we're now being joined by Yusuf Jalali, journalist from Tehran. Thank you so much for joining us on WION World is One at this time. I want to begin by asking you what the situation is at the moment.
Well, of course, good morning. This has been by far the largest attack carried out against Iran from a foreign country in almost 4 decades and since the end of the Iran-Iraq war back in the 1980s. So the Iranians actually woke up to ear-splitting sounds of explosions in the capital, Tehran, and several other cities. It came overnight around 3 a.m. local time, of course, in Tehran and in the western cities of Tabriz and some mostly cities located on the western borders of the Islamic Republic of Iran. Of course, it targeted mostly military and nuclear sites across Iran, and as we speak, the attacks are ongoing, and the Iranian armed forces are trying to repel those airstrikes coming reportedly from some of the Iranian western neighbors, including Iraq. So this is unconfirmed, but we see on social media some unapproved and unconfirmed reports suggesting that the attacks are being carried out through the airspace of Iran's western neighbor, Iraq. So as I mentioned, they mostly targeted Iranian military and nuclear sites, including Parchin, which is a very large and highly protected military facility located in east of Tehran, and also Natanz in Isfahan. Actually, it's a celebrity name, Natanz. Israel has long been pushing to, of course, strike this major nuclear enrichment facility. It's an underground, highly protected nuclear facility in the city of Isfahan, located around 200 kilometers west of the city of Isfahan in central Iran. And so far, we've been hearing from Iranian officials, Iranian nuclear officials, that that complex, nuclear enrichment complex, has not been damaged because it is located deep underground, and Israel has only managed to scratch the surface and hit the surface of that nuclear facility. Of course, Israel has been justifying its attack on Iran by saying that Iran has been seeking to build a nuclear bomb. Israel has been for years, if not decades, been pushing for striking Iran to limit and of course, curtail Iran's nuclear capabilities. And recently, this mantra has been, we've been hearing such a mantra from Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli prime minister. He seems to be frustrated by how Trump is behaving Iran, how Trump is treating Iran with regards to those nuclear talks. So right now, the moment came and Israel finally struck Iran, allegedly to try to curtail and curb the Iranian nuclear capabilities. Of course, among the casualties, we've been hearing from official sources, including the Iranian state television, that women and children, civilians, have been among the casualties, despite claims by Benjamin Netanyahu that they seek to target Iranian key figures within the Iranian nuclear sphere and the military sphere. But of course, on top of the list is, as you also mentioned, is Major General Hossein Salami, who is the commander-in-chief of the IRGC, the Islamic Revolution Guards Corps. And we just heard that the chief of staff of Iran's armed forces, General Bagheri, has also been confirmed dead, despite rumors that he has been still alive, and he was claimed to be heading the Iranian war room. Right now, we heard that his death has been confirmed officially. So Iran has not struck yet. Iran has been busy trying to repel those attacks by Israel. But as we heard from the Iranian Supreme Leader, the response will come and will be tough against Israel.
Right. Now, Mr. Jalali, just I'm seeking clarification here. You took the names of Hossein Salami, and there was a second name that you took. I believe I missed that. Could you just repeat that for us as well and our viewers?
Yeah, he's General Bagheri, who is chief of staff of Iran's armed forces. He's the highest ranking Iranian military official.
Right. And of course, that being said, at the moment you've said that there have been casualties. You mentioned the big names as well. That being said, we were also talking about the United States, and we've been discussing this since the morning as well, that The United States and Iran had been engaged in nuclear talks. The nuclear facilities' enrichment of uranium, that remained a bone of contention as well. That being said, how do you assess the scope and the extent to which United States will get involved now that this escalation has happened? And would you say at this point it may be a stretch to call this an all-out war, or is that what it's being assessed as?
Well, of course, it's already an all-out war right now because Iran is constantly engaged in trying to push back and repel those inbound attacks from Israel. So Iran has vowed revenge, and Iran has declared a state of emergency across the country as put by the Iranian supreme leader. So it is a war, actually. Iran has long been planning to launch its third operation against Israel, Operation True Promise. Everybody was waiting for that, but Israel called it a preemptive strike against Iran, trying to limit Iran's military capabilities before Iran would be able to launch any attack against Israel. So it is a war, definitely. And while everybody is calling for self-restraint, the United Nations, even we heard such comments from Trump. Trump is now inviting Iran to sit at the negotiating table. And as you mentioned, the sixth round of talks is pending. Actually, it's scheduled for the coming Sunday. But right now, as this war is happening, a level of uncertainty is now in the air. We cannot really predict how those negotiations will proceed because Iran is most likely be engaged in a full-scale war with Israel, and the prospect for diplomacy here is fading, actually.
Right.
At least we can expect such a thing to happen.
All right, Mr. Jalali. Also just wanted some clarity on this. I mean, there is some premonition that may be required in that sense, but just going forward, of course, the world is watching with bated breath how things will unfold going forward, and also how you assess the capabilities of all the actors in this war.
By actors, who do you mean? Who are
I
you
mean Israel
to?
and Iran as well as the United States going forward.
Well, of course, usually when such scenarios take place, different actors try to pitch in, try to settle the issues. But from the experiences in the past happening between Iran and Israel, we see that Iran's response always take place. Iran means what it says. And we heard from General Salami just 24 hours ago before his death. He made a very powerful speech in Tehran where he vowed that Iran is ready for any scenario and that Iran will strike back if Israel dares to actually attack and target Iran's nuclear facilities. But it has even stepped further. Israel, we see that as the footage speaks for themselves. Actually, the footages speak for themselves. We see that they have targeted not only the nuclear and military facilities, but some buildings, civilian buildings inside at the heart of Tehran, with some civilians being reported killed. So that leaves no room for doubt. Iran will respond, and as put by different Iranian officials, and you also reported that fact, Iran will respond, and that actually requires different actors, as you mentioned, including the United States, to try to settle the issue. But every attempt and any attempt will be made after Iran strikes back, and that is not an analysis, that is a report, and consider it as a fact because Iran has already made its mind and will attack Israel.
Right, absolutely. We have heard those statements by the Iranian Supreme Leader as well, saying that Israel is in for a painful and a bitter fate. We've also heard statements from Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu. He has made it clear that Israel will not stop and will carry on with its Operation Rising Lion for as long as it takes. What I am trying to understand is, to what end will we see this war carry on between the two sides? And what is the objective here?
If you take a look at the comments of Iranian officials in the past, they have unveiled some missile cities, underground missile cities. They have said that Iran will strike back with hundreds, if not thousands, of missiles. Iran has a very extensive military arsenal, some of which they claim have not been unveiled yet, and they have said that they will surprise Israel and, of course, the United States, because we see that some officials are pointing the finger of blame at the United States as well. They said that this is a joint effort by Israel and the United States, and they have said in the past that the American bases in the region, including those located in the UAE and in Saudi Arabia, would be a target if an attack from Israel took place, whether or not the United States be and stand by the Israeli side. And now we heard from Donald Trump just recently, like around minutes ago, that he said that any counterattack against Israel on the part of the Islamic Republic will require the United States to stand by the Israeli side. So that would be a full-scale war, not only against Israel, but also against the American bases located across the Middle East.
All right, Mr. Yusuf Jalali, thank you so much for joining us right now with your insights and with all the with your perspective on this. We know that the situation remains rather tense in Tehran at the moment. Thank you so much for joining us at this time.
Thank you for having me.
For latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.